She snapped coldly. "You have no right to tell me what to do this weekend. We're not married." I had planned to propose with the ring she'd dreamed about for years, but she left on a sudden trip with her friends. When she returned, her face changed, and she begged me to stay. I remember the exact moment everything shifted. It wasn't loud, dramatic, or explosive. It was quiet, almost peaceful, the kind of silence that settles in after you finally stop pretending things are okay. It happened the night she spoke in that cold, detached voice, the one that carried no affection, no acknowledgement of the life we'd been building. "You have no right to decide my weekend plans," she said. "We're not even married yet." The words weren't shouted, but they landed with weight, heavy enough to crush whatever hope I'd been clinging to. Just hours before, I had been preparing for one of the biggest nights of my life. I'd booked a table at one of the city's most elegant restaurants, the place with warm lighting, polished silverware, and a reserved booth in the back she always loved. In my pocket was a Van Cleef diamond ring, the same one she once pointed at through a store window with that soft excitement in her eyes. She had no idea I'd spent weeks saving for it. No idea how many overtime shifts I'd worked, how many dinners I skipped, or how long I'd been planning the proposal. I thought tonight would be the start of something permanent, something beautiful. But instead, it became the night everything finally came into focus. When I walked in after work, the apartment was dark. Not dim dark, silent, empty. A place that felt paused, like life had stepped out. I called her, expecting she'd be running late or stuck in traffic. She picked up immediately, but the sound behind her was jarring. Loud music, laughter, bass thumping as if she were standing inside a nightclub rather than on her way home. "Hey Andrew," she said casually. "I'm on my way to the airport. The girls and I decided to go to the beach for a few days. It's a sudden trip. A sudden trip." The words echoed in my head. I paused, trying to keep my voice even. "You're serious?" Tonight was important. She sighed. Long, annoyed, dismissive. "Andrew, you have no right to decide my weekend plans. We're not married yet." I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I didn't ask her to reconsider. I simply stood there holding the phone, staring at nothing, listening to her breathe on the other end before I quietly hung up. For a few seconds, the silence in the apartment felt suffocating, like the air thickened with everything I'd been ignoring. But then, strangely, all the noise inside me, the frustration, the disappointment, the sadness, just drained away. What settled in its place wasn't anger. It was clarity. A calm, unwavering clarity I hadn't felt in months. I looked at the small ring box on the table, the symbol of a future I thought we were both walking toward. But now, it just sat there like a reminder of how blind I'd been. I knew exactly what needed to happen next. We had been together for 2 years. I'm Andrew, the practical one, the one with a stable job, the one with his own apartment before she ever moved in. Chloe moved in a year ago, and from the beginning I carried the heavier weight without complaint. I paid the rent. I paid for groceries. I paid for every quiet dinner I planned, every small surprise, every thoughtful gesture. She handled the utilities and cleaning, which sounded fair at first. But as months passed, I realized I was covering the foundation of our life, while she floated through it without ever noticing who held it together. Chloe was incredibly social, loud, vibrant, constantly connected to her circle of friends who called themselves the Sparrows. They were inseparable, always hanging out, always planning spontaneous trips, always posting everything online. I was never part of that world. I didn't need constant noise. I valued small moments, meaningful plans, intentional gestures. But she craved chaos, music, people, parties, attention. And somewhere along the way, the relationship became a one-way effort. I remembered our dates. I planned our outings. I bought gifts. I put thought into everything. She, on the other hand, canceled plans constantly, sometimes because she was tired, other times because her friends made last-minute plans that were apparently more exciting than the reservations I spent weeks arranging. Her friends treated my apartment like theirs, dropping by unannounced, eating the food I bought, leaving messes everywhere, occupying my living room for hours while I hid in the bedroom pretending I wasn't bothered. Chloe thought I was being dramatic whenever I said something. They're just friends, Andrew. Stop taking life so seriously. But the truth was simple. I wasn't taken seriously at all. Which is why, when she canceled that proposal night without a second thought, everything became painfully clear. It wasn't about priorities. It was about respect. And I didn't have any in her world. That night, staring at the ring box, I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Done. Truly, completely done. I called Mike, my best friend. He picked up instantly. Hey man, what's going on? I'm buying dinner tonight, I said. He laughed. What's the occasion? My freedom. He didn't ask anything else. He simply said, text me the place. I showed up at the restaurant wearing the same suit I had planned to wear for the proposal. The staff recognized me immediately. The reservation was still in the system. Instead of changing it, I asked them to keep the table for 4. My friends arrived looking confused. Where's Chloe? Josh asked. She's not coming, I said. Actually, she's gone for good. We sat down, ordered drinks, and I told them the whole story. The call, the dismissal, the missed proposal, the ring, the trip, everything. When I finished, I placed the ring box on the table. This was supposed to be hers tonight, I said quietly. Now it's just a reminder of how wrong I was. Silence settled around us. Then Mike lifted his glass. To lessons learned. Lena added, and to better women in the future. We toasted, and even though the night started heavy, it slowly softened. They told jokes, shared stories, and pulled me out of the mental fog I'd been living in. For the first time in a long time, I felt like myself again. The same table, same suit, but an entirely different purpose. When Lena asked if she should take a picture, I agreed. But when she asked if she should post it, I shook my head. No. Let's just keep it between us. This wasn't revenge. This was healing. When I went home that night, I looked around the apartment and realized how quiet it was. Quiet in a way that didn't drain me anymore. The next morning, I began packing. Not my things, hers. I spent hours folding her clothes, organizing her makeup, sorting her shoes, collecting the small pieces of herself she'd scattered across my home. It wasn't done in anger. It was closure, deliberate and calm. When I finished, the apartment looked cleaner than it had in months. I didn't change the locks yet. I wanted her to pick up her things peacefully. 3 days later, I heard the door unlock. Chloe walked in, tanned, carrying shopping bags, looking refreshed and unconcerned. When she saw the boxes, her smile faltered. Why is everything packed? Your things are ready for you to take, I said. She froze. What do you mean ready for me to take? I'm asking you to move out. Her face twisted. Shock? Anger. Confusion. Are you serious? You're kicking me out? What the hell, Andrew? You said it yourself, I replied calmly. I have no right to plan your weekends. And you're right, we're not married. So you don't have to live here. She dropped her bags. That was just something I said. You're overreacting. It's my apartment, I said simply. I think I deserve respect. She scoffed. So now it's about money? You think paying rent gives you control? No, I said softly. But it should at least give me partnership. And that's not what this has been for a long time. She paced angrily, muttering accusations, spinning the story into something unrecognizable. But I didn't engage. I just kept moving boxes toward the door. And then, as I leaned down, the ring box slipped from my pocket and fell onto the floor. Chloe paused mid-sentence. She stared at it. What's that? She whispered. I didn't answer. She walked over, opened it, and froze. Her entire demeanor changed, anger dissolving into shock. You were going to propose? I stayed silent. Her eyes filled with tears. Andrew, I didn't know. If I had known. You did know something important was planned, I said. You just didn't care. She stepped closer. Please just listen. I made a mistake. I thought it was just a normal dinner. I didn't mean to hurt you. I pulled my hand away when she reached for it. You don't get to fix this. I already did. What does that mean? She asked. The dinner still happened. I said. Just not with you. I shared it with friends who actually value me. Her expression crumbled into rage. You humiliated me. You made me look stupid. No, I said quietly. You did that. I pointed to the boxes. Your ride will be here in 5 minutes. She stared at me, shaking, before finally grabbing her things and leaving. A week later, she posted a dramatic story online about how I threw her out right after planning to propose, adding pictures of the ring and stolen photos from the restaurant. Her followers attacked me instantly, calling me controlling, heartless, abusive. I didn't reply, but I didn't need to. My friends did. My neighbors did. People who saw everything unfold stepped in, shared the truth, and exposed the parts she conveniently left out. Within a day, her entire narrative collapsed. Chloe deleted the post. Her friends got dragged online. And for once, I didn't have to fight for myself. The truth finally had its own voice. She texted me days later. I didn't mean for it to go that far. Can we talk? I deleted the message. I returned the ring. Walked out of the store feeling weightless. The silence in my apartment didn't feel empty anymore. Felt like peace. Months passed. I focused on myself, work, sleep, the gym, time with friends. I rebuilt slowly, quietly, intentionally. Then I met Emma. Soft-spoken, kind, steady. She never made love feel like a competition. She didn't need loud rooms or constant chaos. She didn't make me feel invisible. We grew gradually, naturally, without fear. When I proposed to her, I didn't use the old ring. I bought a new one, from a different brand, a different store, a different chapter. She said yes with sincerity in her eyes. And for the first time, it felt like love, not effort, not proving myself, not holding everything together alone. Looking back, I don't regret Chloe. She taught me the most important lesson of all. Never stay somewhere you're treated like an option. Losing the wrong person is how you make room for the right one.